Court early Friday sentenced Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli to 6 months in prison after being found guilty of contempt of court. Justice Lawrence Mugambi ordered that Masengeli submits himself to Commissioner General of Prisons to begin his sentence. Samira Mohammed with the details.
Good morning.
Acting Police Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli could begin his career as a police boss on a rough patch after being found guilty of contempt of court, with the High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi sentencing him to 6 months imprisonment for the offence. This is after Masengeli snapped court summons for 7 consecutive times.
Contemner, Mr. Gilbert Masengeli is sentenced to 6 months imprisonment.
Justice Mugambi directing that Masengeli avails himself to the Commissioner General of Prisons to ensure that he is committed to the prison facility to begin serving his sentence, and in the event of failure to submit himself to the Commissioner General of Prisons, the court directed the Cabinet Secretary for Interior Kithure Kindiki to enforce order.
Mr. Masengeli is ordered to submit himself to the Commissioner General of Kenya Prisons to ensure that he is to be committed to a prison facility to commence serving sentence of the imprisonment imposed. In the event that he does not submit himself to the Commissioner General of Prison Service as ordered, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Interior must take all steps that are necessary and permissible in law to ensure Mr. Gilbert Masengeli is committed to prison to commence serving the sentence imposed on him.
The court, however, suspended sentence for 7 days to allow Masengeli to redeem himself by complying with the court order.
In that regard, Mr. Masengeli may avoid serving this sentence, and therefore, in that regard, the court shall suspend this sentence for 7 days only. The Acting Inspector General of Police can redeem himself and comply by availing himself before this court in person to answer to the issues he has been avoiding. In default, the sentence shall automatically become effective.
Masengeli had been summoned by the court to explain the whereabouts of Jamil Langton, his brother Aslam Langton, and activist Bob Njagi, who were allegedly abducted by individuals believed to be police officers on August 19th during the Gen Z-led anti-government protests. On the day of judgment, the High Court rejected his application to suspend his sentencing after he was found guilty of contempt of court.
Alleging the abduction or arrest of the second to the fourth petitioners on the 19th of August 2024 by persons who had introduced themselves as police officers. They were then kept incommunicado in undisclosed locations after the incident. This court entered a finding of guilty on the 9th of September 2024 after all efforts afforded to the contemner to purge the contempt were ignored.
In a last-minute attempt to save himself, Masengeli, through his advocate, had sought the suspension, arguing that his focus was on critical national security matters that required his immediate attention, which had justified his absence from the court.
Have the decision finding the first respondent in contempt of court to be reconsidered, my lord.
Despite expressing regret over his actions and affirming respect for the court maintained its decision, adding that Masengeli's failure to comply with the court order could not be excused.
The contemner, in this case, was accorded every opportunity to purge the contempt to the extent that attending a workshop in Mombasa was more important than obeying a court summons intended to seek an explanation on the whereabouts of the second to that petitioner.
Samira Mohammed for TV 47.